So you're an online content creator and you're probably thinking about creating an online course, but you're just not sure how exactly to publish it and take it to the market. Now, with so many options, the problem is that it's really easy to get overwhelmed. So today I'm going to simplify your decision for you, and we're going to look at 6 of these different platforms, including 2 which nobody is talking about. And in fact, these 2 are actually my top 2 picks for 2021. So we're going to look at these in 3 different categories. The first category is called managed for you. The second category is self-managed. And finally, you need to keep watching to the end for this. I'm going to give you my top 2 picks for 2021 that nobody is talking about. And these 2 picks are actually way better in every way than all of these other big name platforms. First, we're looking at these managed for you platforms, Udemy and Skillshare. The main difference between these 2 is how they pay you. For Udemy, they pay you a fixed percentage of each of your courses that are sold. So one of the benefits is that you have more control over the pricing of your course. Skillshare, on the other hand, pays you based on how much time their users spend on your course, because their users will pay a fixed monthly subscription to get access to all the courses on their platform. So those users will have to find your course and actually spend time going through the content of your course. And you will get paid based on how much time each user spends on your course. So the benefit of Skillshare is it's not as competitive as Udemy. If somebody is looking for a course in your niche, they're just going to type in those keywords and your course will show up. Sure, it might not have the same feedback ratings, but people don't really have to invest any more money to get started on your course. It's very possible that somebody is going to spend time in another course in the same niche and also spend time going through your course. Now, we're going to look at the pros and cons of this type of course hosting platform in general, those which are managed for you. The first and most obvious one is they do everything for you. You just need to upload your course content and you don't have to worry about anything else. Second, they even handle the payments and refunds for you. Now, organizing payments on your own isn't really that complicated. Where it does get a bit more complicated is when it comes to refunds. When you're with either of these managed for you platforms, they're going to handle all of that for you. The next benefit is that they both have smartphone apps for both Android and iOS, which means it makes it that much easier for your customers to access your course. There are some parts of the world where using a credit card to buy things online just isn't really a mainstream thing just yet. Despite that, everyone's familiar with using a smartphone, and they're very much familiar with making purchases through the apps on their smartphone, which might be directly linked to their bank accounts. So by having access to those customers as well, you're broadening the reach that you have. And finally, it costs you nothing to get started on either of these platforms. So even if later on you plan to have your own course website, by initially starting on either of these 2 platforms, it's a great way to just test the market, to maybe get some feedback and see if there's anything you can do to improve your course. It's even going to be a great way to gauge what a fair price for your course might be compared to your competitors. Speaking of which, that brings me to our first con. So these course hosting platforms are not just course hosting platforms, they are marketplaces for courses, and both of them are very well established, which means whatever you can think of, it's probably already on those platforms. The next con is that these platforms, because they're doing a lot of the work for you, they're going to take a really big cut. Udemy, I think they take 50% per sale. And if it's on their smartphone app, they take an even bigger cut. And with Skillshare, you don't really know exactly how much you're going to get paid. It's all based on how much time their users spend on your content. Something that applies to both of them is you don't know how transparent they're actually being with you. You just have to take Udemy's word for however many courses they say you've sold. And likewise with Skillshare, you have to take their word for however much time they say their users are spending on your course. The next con is they're in control. It's just like any social media platform. They own the platform. It's their house. You're just there sleeping on their couch. So if for any reason they decide that they don't want you on their platform, it could be that you're violating one of their policies, perhaps unknowingly, you are going to be at the mercy of whatever they decide to do with their platform. Similar to the previous point, the fact that it is their platform and their house, they're ultimately interested in growing their user base. Every customer they have is their customer, not yours. If you do get kicked off of their platform, you have no way of maintaining contact with your customers. And again, and another con related to what we previously talked about, it's their house, their rules. They have strict rules on what you can and cannot have in your courses. Anything that they feel might take their customers away from their platform, you're not allowed to have in your course. Next, we're going to look at the self-managed platforms. These are two of the biggest names in the space. We've got Teachable and Thinkific. They've been around for a very long time. And from what I've seen, Teachable happens to be slightly more popular. And I think that's because many years ago, Teachable actually did have some better features than Thinkific, but Thinkific has done a great job of catching up and really innovating over the last few years. One thing that Teachable likes to push, and this is also what you're going to see in a lot of those fake reviews, which are really just affiliate blog posts, they say that Teachable has one-click upsells, and that's actually not what it sounds like. What it means is when somebody makes a purchase on your Teachable school, they can choose to have their payment details saved on the website or on their account. And if they do check that box, when they try to make another purchase, they can use the same payment details that are already saved there, and they don't have to enter it again. But they don't actually have a one-click upsell. The way it works is exactly the same as on Thinkific. On your course thank you page or confirmation page after somebody makes a purchase, you can put a button or a link to the checkout page for another course. So it's not actually a one-click upsell. It doesn't work as seamlessly as they'd make you think when they say that. So do not be fooled. It's not really as big a deal as they make it sound. Thinkific, on the other hand, I actually do think they have a better offering. They have a much more customizable interface, which looks more polished and more professional. It can offer a much better user experience. And it also helps a lot with branding. When people visit your course page or your course website, it doesn't have to look and feel like a Teachable course page. Even with Teachable's paid plans, they still have their Teachable branding all over the place. When people try to log in, they'll ask you whether you want to log in with your school account or a Teachable account, and that just really sucks. In fact, that even causes some confusion in my experience, because I used to use Teachable. I was on their platform for almost a year. Some students will have a regular account, and then they might switch over to a Teachable account where their enrollments won't actually get carried over properly, and they get confused. It's such a mess. That's a big reason why I decided to move away from Teachable to the course hosting platform I'm using right now, which I'm going to share with you right at the end. Then with Thinkific, what I love about Thinkific is that you can get started for free. Teachable, on the other hand, their cheapest plan is still a paid plan. So with Thinkific, you can actually start for free. You can start selling your courses for free. It's just that they charge you a bigger commission for each course that you sell. And then once you go on their paid plans, they charge you a much lower commission. In fact, I think they don't charge you a commission at all. It's just transaction fees, which you are also charged on Teachable anyway. Now, the pros for self-managed course hosting platforms like this, they handle all the technical stuff. You don't have to worry about the coding and building the website and all of that. There are options on WordPress and stuff where you can do that, but you don't have to worry about that when you use one of these platforms. You pay a monthly subscription, they handle the hosting, you just focus on the course content, the marketing, and your customer relationships. You own all your own data, meaning everything on your course platform is your own. You have full control over what sort of content you post there, and you have access to all of your customers' contact information. So if you want to send them follow-up emails, you can do that. If you want to download the list and just keep a record of it, you can do that. And that, I would say, is one of the biggest benefits over managed for you platforms like Udemy and Skillshare. You don't have to worry about competition. When you direct people to your course website, you don't have to worry about them being shown other offers and other things that are going to distract them. The other cool thing is that because you are handling the marketing and the customer relationship side of things, even the payments, you can integrate these platforms easily with other tools for analytics, for email lists, sales pages, and so on. Now, the cons. Because you are much more involved and because this is self-managed, that includes doing your own customer support. Any problem that they have, they're going to contact you and you have to respond to them. If it is something technical and you're not really sure, you will have to be the middleman who contacts Teachable or Thinkific, get the information you need, and then get back to the customer with that. Also, because it's self-managed, you handle your own marketing. you've got to make sure that you have a solid marketing strategy that's driving traffic to your website consistently. And very importantly, there's limited functionality for building funnels or email marketing pipelines and automations. You'll need to use other software for that. Now, if you do actually want to do a lot more of that stuff in a single platform, rather than have different apps and different services that you're buying and paying for separately, I would recommend looking at Kajabi. Kajabi does have a lot more functionalities. So they allow you to build really good sales funnels on their platform. They allow you to manage your email campaigns and automations on their platform. But the problem is that their entry-level price is a lot higher. It's something like $300 a month, which in the big scheme of things is pretty reasonable. But you've got to keep in mind that when you get into Kajabi, you're kind of locked into whatever they can offer you on their platform. Whereas if you have, let's say, your course hosting done on Thinkific or Teachable, and you're using something else for your email campaigns, then you can actually choose an email campaign provider which has all the features that you actually want. Also, you've got a fallback option. If for any reason, let's say your Teachable school or your Thinkific school gets hacked into, you're not going to lose everything instantly. You still have all of your email contacts stored somewhere else, which is on your email managing platform. Now, I'm going to show you my top 2 recommendations. And in fact, I actually use both of these platforms myself for my courses. The first one is what I switched over to when I left Teachable, and it is called LearnWorlds. So with LearnWorlds, you get all the benefits of using a self-managed course hosting platform. You are managing the courses yourself. You are also managing all of your customers yourself. You have full ownership and rights to all of the content and your customer list, but it has a much better interface. You have so much more customization available to you for how your course looks, for your branding. And in fact, just the interface itself is so much more responsive. It moves faster. And when you have lots of different courses with tons of different modules, those little milliseconds that each page loads faster on LearnWorlds, that saves you hours every single week. The other cool thing about LearnWorlds is that they offer so many other options as to how you package your courses. You can have really cool bundles where you put certain courses together. You can have subscription bundles, or you can even have individual subscriptions for your courses. They've got a really cool discussion platform or forum where your students can type messages to you directly or contact you directly if they have any problems. And plus, here's one thing that I used to hate about Teachable. When I enrolled students from my sales funnel using an automation, the students are supposed to get a confirmation email, and they need to click the link in that email to go over to Teachable, create their account, and log in to access the course. So many students would not receive those confirmation emails from Teachable. They'd go straight to their spam folder. And that was driving me nuts. I was getting tons and tons of complaints from students who said, I bought the course, I paid the money, but I just haven't received access to the course. What's going on? Are you scamming me? And once I switched over to LearnWorlds, a lot of that stopped. Instead, LearnWorlds has a much cleaner email record, and their emails as well, just the way they're written. But you look at the Teachable one and it just looks so outdated, whereas LearnWorlds, it looks and feels more personal and more professional. The other cool feature on LearnWorlds is that they have a GDPR compliance switch. Basically in the settings, there's a little switch, you just flick it on and it will automatically generate a GDPR compliance policy page. And you can just go in and customize some of the words in there to include your company's name. And that means that search engines are going to rank your website more favorably for European users. The only downside, I guess, for LearnWorlds is that it starts at about $80 per month. And that is comparable to the similarly priced tiers for plans on Teachable and Thinkific. So you can sort of think of it as getting one of those $80 to $100 plans on Teachable or Thinkific with just a whole bunch more features on a much more user-friendly platform. But what do you do if you're not quite ready to commit that much? And what if you still want some additional support? And what if you want to do less of the work yourself? What if you don't actually want that much responsibility for the marketing and the sales and all of that? That's where Graphy comes in. Graphy is a new app that really just started to take off just only a few months ago. They have all the benefits of the managed for you platforms we looked at previously, Udemy and Skillshare. The difference is they have a much stricter vetting process to make sure that the quality of the content and the courses that go on their app meets a certain standard. And it's not as saturated as those other marketplaces either. So if you go onto Graphy right now and you become a grapher, which means a content creator for them, they will assign one of their staff to work with you, offer you advice, and guide you through the entire course creation process to make sure that you have a quality course. Now, their payment model works similar to Skillshare, meaning they will pay you based on how much time their users spend on your courses. But because they're a new platform, right now is the best time to get on them. And that's before their platform gets saturated with tons of competition. So chances are that if you get on that platform right now, today, you're probably going to be the first person to have a course in your niche on their platform. And you'll be the only one in that niche for a very long time. And of course, the other benefit is that it is an app, meaning you don't really have to worry about payments or anything. The payments are all handled in the app, and every month you just have to get a payment directly from Graphy. Now, I've put links to both of these, LearnWorlds and Graphy, in the description below. Although they are affiliate links, that's not the reason why I'm recommending them to you. I actually use both of them myself for hosting my courses, and I honestly think these are the two best options that we have in 2021. So if you did find this video helpful, please use the links in the description below. It's not going to make any difference to you whatsoever, but it will help me because I'll get a small kickback from LearnWorlds and from Graphy. If you want to see more content on how to build a successful and sustainable online course business, hit that subscribe button. I've got more content for you. And drop a comment below. Let me know which niche or industry you're in. I'd love to hear from you. Take care and all the best.